Welcome back, everyone, to round 3 of our bi-weekly MTG Paper Legacy Tuesday Fight Nights event. Again, I am Oliver V. The beautiful man up above me is the one and only Prez BOTW, and we are here for a really fantastic matchup. We have Frosty on Dark Maverick and Mr. Jack Dax with his one deck. I swear to God, this is one of the only things I've ever seen him ever play with Deadguy Ale.
Yeah. So I know that Jack Dax also plays Stoneblade among other things. However, ever since he built Dead Guy Ale a couple months ago, probably 5 or 6 months ago, it's been the love of his life.
Listen, when you own 4 scrublands, you need to find a way to use your 4 scrublands, you know what I mean? And this
Exactly.
is probably the only way that you're gonna get to use all 4 of your scrublands.
Yeah, for sure.
So of note, of course, for anyone who looked at the docket beforehand, Mr. Jack Dax was not expected to actually be one of our players this evening. Pain Cow very graciously moved up to go ahead and face Boo in that previous round. So we were planning on having a pretty cool Dark Maverick versus Nick Fit list or matchup that I thought was gonna be pretty cool. However, we're really lucky in that Mr. Jack Dax was able to audible for us and be able to play in this final round after spotting the first one. And we get to see Dead Guy Ale versus Dark Maverick, which is not a normal matchup that we get to see, but I think it's going to be really interesting to watch for us as the viewers and commentators.
Yeah. So it looks like Jack Dax is gonna win the die roll there. And then we will see what happens from here. Yeah, this is definitely going to be these are both very fair decks. You know, they're very equatable to a death and taxes strategy by virtue of, they're trying to play a fair game of Magic. Maverick is a bit bigger, if you get what I mean. Usually involving Knight of the Reliquaries and cards like that. Green Sun Zenith being one of the key cards. Green Sun Zenith Source to Plowshare specifically being the cards out of Maverick that are important. And then Dead Guy Ale, rather than it's the same similar type of strategy, but it leans a lot harder on black specifically to get disruption. Thoughtseize, Hymn to Turok, Tide Hollow Sculler, things like that.
Real quick, I'm just making sure that I have the deck list up. Oh, oops. Looks like the one that I have is still for the Black White Pox list. Can't unfortunately see Jordan's list at the time. We do. Listen, we've had a lot of black decks here today, okay? We've been
There
going
has
from
been a lot.
Pox, or I'm sorry, we've been going from 6 rack, I guess would be the right way to put it, going to black white Pox, splashing Mana Tithe, and now we get to see black white little tutus, I guess would be the best way to put it. Perfect, and I have the right list up now. So the really cool thing that we get to see is we get to see Sedgemoor list in this, Sedgemoor Witch in this list, which is something that I haven't really seen before of Dead Guy Ale, even though it came out in this last set. I haven't had a chance to see it play. And then at the same time, Daruthi Voidwalker, this brand new Leyline of the Void 3-tube Shadow Beater out of Modern Horizons 2.
Yeah. And being a 2 mana 3/2 that's functionally unblockable with upside excuse me, is very good. Dothai Voidwalker is a heck of a card.
Oh, 100%. I think it was last week, Tuesday, where we got to see the threat of Dathoi Voidwalker as we watched 2 of our mods, Pope Huffy play against Dr. Leo, where Pope Huffy actually had it in a Jund list. And there's just the threat of it and what it would be able to do in terms of stealing value cards was really interesting in the way that Doc, who was playing, I believe, Nick Fit at the time, had to play
Yeah,
around it,
Bug
right?
Neck Fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn
Actually,
burn
this
off, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, this might actually be a really good time for us to rep what's going on now. So, for those of you who have been with us for a while, you know that for a long time we've been doing these fight nights on a weekly basis. However, as a result of kind of summer and everyone's changing schedules, we've actually changed up what we're doing on our Tuesday night streams. We're still doing these fight nights every other week on a bi-weekly basis, but now we've started something brand new. Prince, you want to talk about that for a second? What we can see this next week?
So we did, and last week was the first episode that we tried this. We are doing Legacy Live. So this is a basically rather than us commentating on other people playing matches, we will be commentating on the game that we are playing. There's going to be multiple cameras on each player, everything like that. We'll be talking through the plays. It's really good. It gives an inside view as to what the player is going on about while they're playing. It's a lot of fun. It's super interesting.
And not only that, the best part about this next one is that you're going to get to see me, Oliver V, versus the guy up there, Pres BOTW, sit here and play Magic against each other for 3 hours with the decks that we absolutely love. I'm really looking forward to it. Our
It's going to
last
be
episode
good.
was a huge success. It was really fun to really be able to get in on kind of the banter that's happening and have people really talk through their lines. And we're really excited that we're going to be able to bring that to you guys this next week.
Yeah, for sure. Of note, there, Frosty leading off on what would typically look like a Death and Taxes start with Plains into Mother of Runes. Uh, Also, Frosty being a notable Death and Taxes pilot. This is definitely probably okay. I'm playing as Death and Taxes here. So we do see though him to Turok come back. So we see Sylvan Library and Verdant Catacomb. So the jig is immediately up.
This is no ordinary Death and Taxes, baby.
No, this is not Death and Taxes you're up against. This is Dark Maverick.
So
Of note,
Frosty,
though, hitting that Verdant Catacombs hitting this Sylvan Library is huge in this matchup.
oh, absolutely. I was just about to say that was the exact two drop that Frosty was hoping to deploy on this next turn. With that, I mean, that was the hit.
Yeah, Sylvan Library is so disgusting against a deck that cannot keep up with it through the same amount of card advantage. You know, with Deadguy unable to draw functionally that many cards or being able to filter the top three every turn, if not draw additional cards, it's going to be very difficult to keep up with Frosty if she is able to resolve uh, the Sylvan Library.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what Sylvan Library is meant to do, right? Mr. Jack Dax is playing this deck that's trying to go figure, very similar to Pox, which we just watched, is trying to get down to this top deck war, is just like eliminate everyone's resources so you're able to kind of grind things out. And Sylvan Library just completely works around that, right? It's that I have this permanent play that is going to keep amassing me card advantage and kind of card filtering while you're just sitting there looking at the top of your deck as we get into this long game.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. So Frosty was deep in the tank there, trying to decide on what to do, given that the line of get the Sylvan Library out didn't work. So looks like we're deploying the Cradle against a Wasteland deck, which is unfortunate in order to get the one green mana. And then Green Sun Zenith out the Noble Hierarch there. So that'll at least give Frosty more mana going forward here. And we see Mr. Jack Dax deploy Dothoi Voidwalker right away after Wastelanding the Cradle. Do
So
you deploy the Voidwalker first, then Wasteland the Cradle?
technically, yes, just because you're playing against a deck that very often has Ramanop Excavator. It probably won't be too relevant. However, it technically is. I forget the way this works is that the swords doesn't get exiled,
No.
right? Because
No.
it's
So
gone by the resolution when it's actually put into the graveyard, or
yeah,
the reliquary being increased in power. That's very right beyond sadistic.
that's true as well. Yeah. The way I always remember it is when you abrupt decay a rest in peace sees itself get exiled, abrupt decay does not get exiled. Because the abrupt decay is still on the stack, technically the first instance where the oh my goodness, the rest in peace or the abrupt decay is still on the stack while rest in peace is in the graveyard. So it looks like we're gonna get Stoneforge Mystic, go get Cauldron Compleat, and then immediately follow up with a Collector Oof.
Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. That's the Phyrexian spelling of complete. Let's pronounce this right. This is
Sure.
Cultura complete. Of note, Mr. Jack Dax has been so excited about this card to be in this list. I'm very happy we're going to get to see it come in. And of note, really a fantastic thing to get in the face of this collector roof, right?
Yeah. You know, given that there's a Collector Oof down, the Cauldron Complete is definitely much better than Batterskull or Umezawa's GTA.
Oh, 100%. Batterskull, of course, still has some play, but it's much easier to kill when you are on this creature deck and you can just double block it and then it's dead for the rest of the game as long as you have that collector who can play. This culture complete, you literally need to swords it and that's it.
Yeah. Hmm.
I imagine we're going to see a Stoneforge activation and crunch in with a 5/5 on Jordan's next turn.
Probably, yeah. So it looks like we're gonna get another
Okay.
Green Sun Zenith X's one.
Interesting Jordan pass there.
Yeah. I could see why just passing the turn. This is definitely leaving up Cauldron Complete.
But not optimizing on the haste that it gets, right? I suppose you could be holding up a combination of Sudden Edict, Fatal Pushes, and Swords, but that's really interesting. I'm sure there's something that I'm missing here.
Yeah. Bop.
And
So
Frosty just struggling to be able to get mana sources again, right? Like, look at all this time and resources that Frosty's putting into going ahead and just getting mana dorks after this wasteland and and him that took the verdant catacombs.
yeah, and of note there, yeah, the Wasteland and the Cradle and the Verdant Catacombs stripping all the lands out of Frosty's hand there is absolutely brutal. Very lucky that the Greenstone Zenith was able to come in and get the mana dorks, which have not been answered yet. However, like, and that's just it. Without these mana dorks, Frosty would be high and dry.
Looks like Mr. Jack Dax is going ahead and fetching here at the end of turn.
Yeah, and
Not
then
activating and putting in the Cauldron Complete.
interesting.
Really
Hmm.
what are we doing here? Are we just trying to bait out any additional source of plowshares, force Frosty to use them beforehand, and then we'll be able to utilize the Cauldron?
Could be. Like Culture's just such a huge beater. You know, haste, trample, first strike is absolutely disgusting. On top of getting the +5/+5 and the exile touch is ridiculous. Umezawa's Jite. Huh. Oh, I think he's trying to deploy the Umezawa's Jite now. Then we'll see the Stoneforge Mystic bring Cauldron Complete in, equip, and then just start adding counters to the Jite. So that way, as soon as that Collector Roof dies, or Jack Dax is able to draw an answer for it, that the Jite will have 4 to 6 counters on it, and then just go to town.
How's the GTA going to get counters on it unless it's equipped?
Oh yeah, you can't equip it. Never mind. Forgot
That
about that.
that also is an activate ability of an artifact, it turns
That
out.
is true. Forgot about that.
Yeah, that oof was very well timed.
Yes. I'm just wondering what the thought process is. Because like last turn would have been the time to get in with Cauldra, I think. Given that now Frosty, if Frosty's able to just sit back, you can hit for one with the bird in the air off the Exalted trigger, and then just leave the planes up for Swords to Plowshares, or pay 3 and Knight of the Reliquary. Here we go.
And it turns out having that Gaia's Cradle in the graveyard is relevant as it is a 4/4 now,
Yep.
where it could have been exiled otherwise. Okay, now we see it come in. No,
Huh.
Malfi, this is Deadguy Ale versus Maverick. So basically Death and Taxes, right? Death and Taxes with black cards to make it a little bit more poxy. We have the Pox sub theme running through the entire night here. We want to make sure every match has him to Turok somewhere in it.
Yeah. Hilariously, I just double checked because that it's the token for Cauldra through Cauldra Complete is a germ. It is black, meaning Mother of Runes works. The original Cauldra out of the Mirrodin set when you had the 3 parts assembled is colorless, which is hilarious.
But because the trample in these previous points, you were only going to like sure you can block and activate Mother Runes, but all that was going it was only going to prevent a single damage, right? Or two in the case of the Collector Oof.
So I'm not exactly sure in that in regards to the exile touch because it says assign lethal damage and the ruling under death touch says any amount of damage is lethal. Exile touch technically because it's not an actual keyword. I don't know if the game recognizes that as being lethal damage, right? Because if you can block with the knight for 4 and then give it pro black and then only 1 damage tramples through, that's pretty big.
Oh, that's interesting. So the protection from mom doesn't protect against exile touch. Looks like Malfi is agreeing with you on that. I would love to see a ruling on that actually, just to confirm. But that would make absolute sense then. And Mr. Jack Dax, of course, would be in the know on this being a L1 judge.
Yeah.
But that is good for me to know later on down the line. This is why we do this, so I can learn lessons. It's not about y'all enjoying yourself. It's about me learning things. Seeing
All
another
the
Stoneforge
lands.
activation. Are we just having the last
Oh my
equipment? All right.
goodness.
That is all the equipment in the deck.
This Stoneforge has done some work, even though I guess the GTA was a natural draw, as was the Batter Skull. But even then, the Stoneforge putting in, 9 power of creatures through a collector roof is pretty good.
It's all right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm. Probably gonna try and find a second germ token.
You better very quickly look up a ruling on exile touch against protection.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it, is because that again, it's not really a keyword. It's any amount, like if a creature would be dealt damage by this creature, exile it, and because the protection prevents the damage, it shouldn't do anything. The question is whether or not you only have to assign one, or if you still have to assign the full toughness of the creature. Because I remember the funny thing is putting Sword of Kaldra onto Goblin Sharpshooter, and you just immediately exile anything you want, but because it gets exiled, it
It
doesn't
doesn't
untap.
trigger. A very quick Google search, which is my first way of handling such rulings, does not reveal anything. It looks like nobody has asked Reddit this exact question before. So we'll have to figure this out later.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they were looking for a germ token, so also of note, Cauldron Complete does not have vigilance.
Come on. I mean, it has keyword soup and it doesn't have vigilance. What a bad card.
Oh yeah.
So
Hmm.
what do we do here?
So that's just it. Is that I think if you have a land to sacrifice, I think you block the germ with the knight. If this is gonna be so, this is float a white, sacrifice a land. So this is gonna make it so that way the knight is a 5/5 now. And then if this is Swords to Plowshares being cast on Cauldron Complete, this is brutal if Jack Dex doesn't have an answer for this.
What is the mom tapped for again? How did what was it activated for? I missed this.
It looks like, as far as I can tell, with Collector Oof being tapped, it looks like it was tapped, or Mom was tapped to give Protector or Collector Oof Pro Black to swing in for 2.
Interesting.
Yes, and that is exactly what happened checking out the play-by-play.
Again, big thanks to our table spotter here for us. We have AJ back in the booth, Mr. Pie Boy, making sure that we can go back and look through the log and figure out what happened after we're done talking about something.
Yeah. So it looks like there wasn't really much that happened for the most part.
Well, the
Um,
germ token on the batter skull died.
Yeah, yeah. I just meant floating the white and nothing was cast with it.
Oh, and we get to get the Squib Ranger in play, which is actually really big in terms of helping Frosty at produce some mana. Where if Frosty is not top decking land, she'll still be able to utilize land drops and essentially net mana on those individual turns.
Yeah. So of note though, this knight is now able to functionally block Kaldra infinitely as long as the Mother of Runes is around. I really like Scrib Ranger being able to untap Mother of Runes in the event that something goes horribly awry. Of note though, the Knight of the Reliquary will never kill Kaldra.
Yeah, both players really just looking for removal to have a point of interaction here.
Yeah. Returning the land, untapping the Birds of Paradise. Huh. So that's 3,
Four,
4, 5.
five, Green Sun for 4.
Yes.
Go and get Questing Piece.
I would imagine this is a questing beast.
You're able to swing in, get for 4. This Cauldron Complete is not tapped. I wonder if we're talking about whether or not it has Indestructible itself. So whether you can go ahead and get the Knight of Autumn to blow it up. That
Yeah,
is not the
Cauldron
legal line.
Complete is indestructible. Uh, I mentioned it in our most recent episode of the podcast that the Cauldron Complete is an absolute flavor win, given that it has exactly the rules text of all 3 pieces of Cauldra put together, except for the activated ability of Helm of Cauldra, which is Living Weapon.
Sometimes WotC does fan service right, and Culture
Yes.
Complete is one of those times the fan service was done right.
Yes. Exactly. Oh wow, so he planned to use a dark ritual to return Batterskull to hand with the Stoneforge Mystic activation on the stack and Frosty pointing out Collector Oof.
Yeah. Collector has been amazing this game.
Oh yes. That being said, you still need an answer to this Cauldron Complete, but with the knight being big enough and the mom there, I think you can just stonewall this Cauldron and being because if you were to put the Batterskull on the Culture Complete, this game is over. Absolutely. First strike, trample, vigilance, lifelink. Yeah. So yes, the creature would not exile because it never sees the damage. I kind of figured that it's more the how much damage do you have to assign? Do you have to assign damage equal to the creature's toughness, or is it like Death Touch where you only have to assign one, given that Cauldron Complete has trample? I think
Okay,
is the
so
question there.
it does make sense. Excuse me. It does make sense, and it is the intuitive thing that we would expect in Mother Runes, being able to prevent the Cauldron from exiling anything. Um, we do want to double check with these weird things from time to time, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Big thanks to Beyond Sadistic for looking that up for us during this
Yes.
time.
Thank
I
you.
hope that wasn't too much of a slog to try to figure out without consulting a judge directly.
Yeah. Of note though, hilariously, Godsend, if you did have that equipped, would exile the creature regardless if it has protection, because that just says whenever a creature is blocked or becomes blocked by equipped creature, exile one of those creatures. Or exile one of the other creatures that isn't equipped,
No
which is
targeting,
nuts.
not damage reliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Yeah. So we're crushing in with questing beast here.
How that
Trample.
wait, how did Stoneforge block that?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you can't block that with Stoneforge. Whoops.
Go ahead and check in on that real quick.
Yep.
Q Beast with all of its glorious text, one of it being that creatures with power 2 and less can't block it.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so it looks like from looking up the rest of the answers there, I guess you still have to assign lethal damage because it doesn't state that it's not lethal damage, even though one damage is enough to exile the creature.
We're still
I
talking about the
guess.
culture. We're still talking about the culture complete interaction
Yeah.
with the protection from mother. Yeah.
Yeah. Fish Duggery, thank you very much for the follow.
Big thanks to Pieboy for correcting that for us. That Stoneforge did not block. 4 damage was done to Mr. Jackdax there. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, 5 damage, of
5
course,
damage,
for the
Exalted
Exalted
Trigger.
Trigger.
Yes. These knights are also big problems being 5/5s.
Yeah, threatening on being 6/6s, or no, they're threatening being 8/8s if you attack into them, right?
Yeah. So the problem is that if you're in Jack Dax's spot, I don't think you can attack with Cauldron here. Given that one of the knights can sack the savannah, go get a fetch land, fetch up another forester plains, sack that, go get another fetch land into another land, and then that will add what is that? That'll add 4 power to each of the knights, so there'll be 9. So you'll be coming across for 20 something damage next turn.
And 3 damage off the Bob trigger there. Seeing a Lily of the Veil being flipped over.
Yeah. Okay, so
Seeing Dark Ritual to cast the Lily.
yeah.
Mr.
So it
Jack
looks
showing
like
off a very cool Dark Ritual token there, I'll be honest.
yes. Yeah, which if you want to get one of those, play in one of our weekly events or our monthly leagues. They are super nice. Would highly recommend trying to earn some of those. They look so good. And they don't curl.
Foil's done right, baby.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you about to say before I so rudely cut you off while looking at that beautiful token?
Um, I still don't know if my question's been answered about Caldra, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, and
We'll
I'll
leave it.
figure it out after stream.
This is a discussion for the MTG rules channel on our Discord.
Yes. So
-2 out the Lily, has Frosty just sacrificing a bird. You're hitting a mana source there, which is relevant.
yes,
Um, yeah. Of note, Frosty, after all these turns, has seen one land off the top. That
yeah,
him and that Wasteland were so good this game. But Frosty
hilarious.
able to just get through there with a couple of green suns for mana sources in these dorks.
Yeah. Of note here too, this Bayou is actually the fourth land drop that Frosty has made all game. And it looks like we just got Pro Black crunch in with Questing Beast for lethal, which hilariously will also kill the Lily if Jack Dax managed to survive that attack.
Really fascinating. And of course, because of that Scrib Ranger, even if you have swords there, you aren't going to be able to deal with it because you could just respond to the swords by bouncing your Savannah back to hand, go ahead and untap the Mother Runes, and then make it pro white as well. Really
Yes.
cool game, honestly. Frosty showing us how she was able to get through, even through being so mana denied. And man, Mother Runes, it turns out, is a good card. Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Yeah, no, Scrib Ranger and Mother Runes is very good. And I know a lot of people, when I've tried to tell them about Maverick in the past, have always been just like, "What's the Scrib Ranger for?" And it's like, well,
For
you know
everything.
why Quarian Ranger's really good, or Wirewood Symbiote's really good? Exactly that reason, except you're using it on Night of the Reliquary and Mother of Runes, which is disgusting.
You just all of a sudden can't beat a mom in the same way that you can previously, and also it just makes your knights even more threatening. It's just so
Oh yeah.
fantastic. Let's go ahead and let's talk about sideboarding real quick. Should we start with Mr. Jack Dax's list?
Yep. So we got Commander sideboard here, all one ofs except for one card. We got two copies of Surgical Extraction. That's the only thing that there's more of one of. Then we have one Tormod's Crypt, a Grafdigger's Cage, Pithing Needle, one Containment Priest, one Disenchant, one Fracture, one Sudden Edict, one Combo Console of Allocation, which is spicy, one Kaya Orzhov Usurper, one Liliana the Last Hope, one Muron Crusader, one Plague Engineer, and one Toxic Deluge.
Okay, few things. Cards I like. I like Toxic Deluge a lot. I
Yes.
like Plague Engineer to a certain extent just because it can FTK your opponent's Mother Runes. I like Mirren Crusader just because it's able to clock, although I don't think that one's going to be really coming in. I like Lily of the Last Hope. I I like uh what is
I
it?
think
Pithing
Kaya's nuts
Needle.
in this matchup.
I like Pithing Needle and I like
Yeah.
Grafdigger's Cage. Oh, you like Kaya here as well?
So the reason why I like Kaya specifically is you have Dothai Voidwalkers, which if they are not answered, could add a lot of exile to the bin as well. But the fact that Kaya can just answer any of the mana dorks or a Mother of Runes, I think is very good.
It I will give you that it is something that can provide reach for Mr. Jack Dax, which we saw was something that he would really benefited from this previous game. So I could respect that, to be honest. What do you think's coming out though to be able to bring in all these cards? I will say I don't think Mirror Crusaders are actually going to come in, but there is the
No.
potential of it doing just because you are able to go ahead and get through the blockers that really matter, right? So you can equip one of your equipment onto the Mirror Crusader and be able to swing through the knights. Just a potential line that could happen, but I'm not exactly sure what you even want to come out because so many of your cards are really good in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I could see maybe cutting some number of Hymn to Turok, but at the same time, I would only do that out of fear of Veil of Summer. Otherwise, I think that's an extremely good card. I'd probably want to keep it in, especially against a fair deck there. Just the value of it resolving is way too good. I could see maybe Sudden Edict coming out. Vindicate being able to hit things Mother of Runes cannot protect is very valuable. I'm not entirely sure what I'd cut here.
Not the biggest fan of Voidwalker in the matchup. The only thing that you are really preventing is recursion of lands, I or the Night of the Reliquaries. The one thing though is it is an arrest in peace effect, so it needs to come down early if it's really going to stymie the knights.
Hmm.
Um, and I want to keep in Sedgemoor Witches, although I think that's kind of marginal as well, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be able to overwhelm the board in the same way. However, we have seen previously Sedgemoor Witch can just change the combat math if this match comes down to it from those pests blocking. But then also, it just being a 3-2 menace is huge in terms of being able to get through if we aren't in a super wide board state on both sides. So we'll have to see what happens here, though.
Yeah, exactly. And also of note, if the Void Walkers are being cut, 100% Kaya does not come in.
Yeah, very, very true. Let's jump over to Junk Maverick on Frosty's side. Frosty has one Path to Exile, one Prismatic Ending. That God, I've been loving that card tonight. It's
It's
so
so
good.
good.
Three Thought Seizes, one Gaddock Tea, one Zealous Persecution, two Choke, one Kaya Orsov Usurper. We see it here as well. One Force of Vigor and four Leyline of the Voids. Um, can I be honest? I'm really not into much besides the Prismatic Ending and maybe the
Yeah.
Path to Exile, but even that, not really.
I think Prismatic Ending is an absolute slam dunk. In that last game, just being able to literally just go white, exile the German Cauldron, done. That whole clock is offline, given that was a collector oof game. But I think that's very good.
It's just so versatile. You're also able to hit a Lily if it resolves for 3, just to get a single activation out of it, and then I can respond to it.
Yeah,
Of note, Prismatic Ending is very, very good. It isn't amazing against Deadguy Ale in the same way it is against, like, decks with Sylvan Library, right? Or just
yeah,
really versatile permanents. Most of the things that you're afraid of are either creatures or they're too big for you to be able to Prismatic Ending it away, right? You're not gonna Prismatic Ending away a Batterskull. You can hit the token. Um, you can hit the Jite as well, I guess, but I don't know.
yeah.
I do think we still see it come in. It's just not as nutty as we've seen in some of the previous matches.
Yeah, I could also see Path to Exile being very good, given that the life gain specifically from Kaldra or from Batterskull could be a little bit detrimental, just as another exile effect, just given how hard those are to deal with. But
Normally, I
I
would
could
be
be
bringing
wrong.
in normally I would bring in Force of Vigor against Jordan. I've done it previously, but with Culture Complete, I actually start wondering about that a little bit more. I think you really need to be specifically afraid of Jite to want to bring in the Force of Vigor, just because it's a lot. Most of the time, we're expecting Jordan to go ahead and get the Culture Complete in this matchup, right?
Yeah,
Um,
him stay
and
dead.
turns out Force of Vigor is never going to kill Culture Complete.
No. So here we go. Let's see what happens here. So we had Frosty fetch into land Noble Hierarch, which immediately ate a plow. And then we got a him to Turok here hitting Collector Oof and a Greenstone Zenith. Ouch.
That's good. I really like this plow play from Mr. Jack Dax, a classic bolt the bird, but especially when you're following it up with a him to Turok, you're just really stymie Frosty's development. Yeah, I like this play a lot.
Yeah. I think as well, in the event that this was like a repeat of last game where you hit lands, that would be so devastating too. So looks like we do have more mana dorks, Burb, and then we got a wasteland here as well, and then pass back.
Of note, and I guess we kind of missed this. That land that we have in play underneath the swamp on Mr. Jack Dax's side is actually a silent clearing, which will be relevant for later. But Mr.
Yeah,
Jack Dax is losing life every time that he's tapping it.
yeah, that is why he is at 18.
All right, Jordan really tanking it here. I wonder how many cards Frosty has in hand. Are we at 2 or 1 in hand at this point?
I'm not entirely sure, but we do see the Stoneforge Mystic come down, and given how it performed last game, I imagine this is going to be Cauldra.
I think it's what you want to be doing. You just want to pressure as early as possible and kind of
Yeah,
optimize on your initial delays that you did, right?
yeah.
Of
That said,
note,
though, knowing that the Collector Oof did get discarded, I could see grabbing Jite here, but
exactly.
Cauldra Complete is what gets grabbed, though.
I like this. I mean, you have to really be wondering what possible cards Frost could have to actually deal with the culture complete besides the swords. And even, I mean, here's the best thing. We talk about how Source of Plowshares is a great card against cultures complete, right? That it is the answer. But in the end, what happens if we get to this super stall out game is Mr. Jack Dex is going to get to 7 mana and it's going to be equipped onto another creature.
Yes, which is very devastating. Especially, again, if you have Cauldra Complete and Batterskull in the same creature, God help you. So it looks like we
Oh,
had Ramanep Excavator come down, Verdant fetch immediately, and then go grab Scrubland, source the Plowshares on the Stoneforge Mystic, which I actually like a lot. I would like that a lot less if that was an Umezawa's GTA, but Culture Complete costing 7 mana, it's not coming down anytime soon without the help of Stoneforge.
yeah, I agree with that.
Dothai Voidwalker. So they did stay in.
And of note, this is kind of what we talked about, where it doesn't have the rest in peace text. So you do get at least one more piece of value from the Ramnap Excavator by playing this Verdant Catacombs out one more time. It will be exiled from that point forward, but I
Yeah,
mean, you're still getting something.
exactly. And also, we will need to make sure that if that Verdant Catacomb gets exiled, it gets exiled in the second pile or a separate pile.
Oh,
So
because it does
offering a
have to be
trade
wooded.
here. Yeah, because it has a void counter on it.
It has Shadow. It
Um,
can't block that.
oh yeah, that's right. That is correct.
Shadow, one of the worst mechanics of all time.
So we're getting 3 here.
Night? Night.
Ooh.
I can
Maybe
see
2/2.
us
Oh, a
leading.
Hex Drinker. Oh
Oh no, never mind.
goodness. This changes a lot.
Okay, so that is a mini Progendus eventually. You have
Yeah.
5 mana, 6 with the Knight. I
Yeah,
have to read
if
every time I need to read Hexdringer's levels. That is 2 turns to be 6/6 Progendus.
yeah. Mr. Jack Dax, if you have an answer for this Hex Drinker, I would advise deploying it right now.
If you too would like coaching services from Prez BOTW, you can directly message him at the MTG Paper Legacy Discord, and he can offer you heads up advice like that he just offered to Mr. Jack Dax. Go ahead and at Prez BOTW. Charges the
Excellent.
low rate of $50 an hour.
That good, eh? Wow.
Whew, I
I
mean,
wouldn't pay myself for that type of advice.
well, if you're given that kind of insight, like you need to kill the Hex Drinker, man, I don't know. That's game changing advice right there.
I agree.
What is this coming down?
Is that oh, that's a foil altar dam that got overloaded. That's nuts.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's so good. Oh my gosh.
I know
And
Jordan.
the void walker sees them all get exiled too. Oh no.
Oh. Oh, I mean, can the next Void Walker can cast out
All those cards, yes. Except for the noble
one.
hierarch. The one noble hierarch. Yeah, yeah. So you'll have to tap to cast one of them, but the option is there to cast all of them.
Oh god, that dam was fantastic. I also love the fact that I can swear on this cast right now without feeling ashamed about it. It's the name of the card. I am not doing this on purpose. Um,
Yeah.
I know that Jordan was also incredibly excited about that card when it was pre-released,
Yeah.
or
And he
when it
was
was
just
spoiled.
losing his mind as well that he bought one collector pack and he actually had the alt art or old border foil of it.
You know, some people would point out that's fate. He needs to be
Exactly.
playing this deck now. Goodbye, Stoneblade. It is
Plague
only this.
Engineer. Wow. So what do you name here? I almost like
Human?
human just to turn Dark Confidant off, but
Yeah, human. You know, you assume that there's Mother of Runes. We haven't seen them on Frost or if from Frosty Seat you haven't seen them at all. Wait, what did I name?
oh,
Yeah,
oh,
human.
yeah, name's human. So that hits Sedgemoor Witch, also hits Dark
Dark
Confidant,
Confidant,
and
Mother.
hits Mother of Runes. Wow.
You're really just doing it because of Dark Confidant and the threat of Mother, I think. I don't think you assume that there's
Oh,
Sedgemoor Witches without seeing it beforehand.
yeah.
Sylvan
And
Library
we
off the top?
do see the Sylvan Library. This is oh,
Okay. Mr. Jack
this is
Dax,
bad.
you need to start pressuring. Let's put it like that. I
Yeah.
also am offering my coaching services. You can at me at.
Yeah,
All right, let's see.
Wasteland coming down. Too little, too late, though. Here we go. Sylvan Library.
Take 8. Take 8 life, please. That's all I want to see whenever I see a Sylvan Librarian play. Ancestral Recall, please.
Called out, Oliver. I like how your rate is cheaper than mine.
I mean, I am an infect player. I don't know numbers higher than that. I'm an infect player and a 4K teacher, right? I teach 4-year-olds. We don't go past 10. I'm joking, of course, but
So what is this now? Oh, this is a Sedgemoor Witch. Okay. So this is going to be a 2/1 menace, which is not as impressive, but still relevant in that this is going to be pumping out bodies that will gain life and also has Ward 3 still.
Frosty took 8. Frosty's down to 9 life.
Oh, wow.
Jordan at 10, supposedly.
Huh.
Okay. I'm happy we saw it happen, but I feel slightly bad that there was no land drop happening with that. That was more of
Yeah.
a desperation 8 than it was anything else. That was a let's see new cards on the next one.
Yeah.
All right, come on. Oh, is that a witch that came down? The Sedgemoor witch?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing: the Sedgemoor witch having menace when you're at this low of a life total after taking 8, that is actually incredibly scary.
Yeah. That being said, this is actually a 5-turn clock, not a 3-turn clock because of the Plague Engineer.
Oh, it is a 2/1. That's huge.
Yeah. It's a huge difference in the amount of clock that's being made. That said, though, if the Sedgemoor Witch is able to start pumping out pests, that's going to change the combat math big time.
Yeah, but until then, it's like you're getting attacked by a Ravagin rather than an insectile aberration, right?
Yeah.
Look at me. Look at me making social or I'm sorry, modern commentary right now. I love this. Yes, that was a jab at everyone who wants Ragavan banned, just so we're very clear. I want to be very clear about what I was trying to do there.
Frosty deep in the tank over the Sylvan Library. Looks like we're taking one card. Fetch land.
Going down to 5? Ooh, that's hard.
Oh.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It just takes the 1, staying at the current life total.
Yeah.
Attacks in, no fear.
Yeah. Interesting. I actually don't mind that attack given that the death touch there can go through because this Plague Engineer, you know, if as long as nothing changes, this Plague Engineer is actually going to win the race.
And you also have the advantage in terms of the cards that you're amassing. Mr. Jack Jacks, I believe, has 3 cards in hand, or is it just 2 here?
Looks like there's two in hand,
Oh,
according to his cards in hand counter.
major props to Mr. Jack Jacks for giving us the lovely card in hand counter that I'm apparently not using whatsoever. Thank you. I appreciate the training wheels.
Hmm. Still deep in the tank, it looks like.
Yes, beyond sadistic. My thoughts are my own. I will go down with that. I do not mean to take everyone down with me with my increasingly bad takes.
There you go. That's okay. I'm full of hot takes too. So, oof, man, tanking super, super hard over the Sylvan Library.
Not fetching. So liking at least one of the cards there on that was seen on the previous library activation
Yeah.
or library trigger. I apologize.
So now we're
Blocking.
gonna trade. Okay.
Yeah.
So either Mr. Jack Dax wants to reset this race, or he found something that needs the Plague Engineer to go away.
Mod.
Mother of Runes. There you go.
There we go.
Oh no.
Swords. Taking one to cast out of not of note,
Yes.
not fetching for a basic planes.
Interesting.
Two cards in Mr. Jack Dax's hand. We know one of them is the Cauldron Complete that's been stuck there for quite some time.
Of note, though, Mr. Jack Dax is only 2 lands away from playing it. Uh-oh. Here's a Stoneforge Mystic. This is bad. So here, I think you 100% go grab a Batter Skull, because even if this
What
Stoneforge Mystic gets answered, you can just cast the Batter Skull next turn.
I think, yeah, that's the clear answer, right? That you don't care about the GT at all here right now. You
No,
just want bodies that can clock.
absolutely not. You just want the 4/4, especially given that it has lifelink. Grabbing the GT. So either the Batter Skull's already in hand, or he's thinking something different from us.
Oh, that's really cool. Do you just cast the GT right now with the mana that you have?
Apparently not, but Flash in Scrib Ranger. Interesting. Down to
Going down to
7 for
7.
Frosty from the uh Horizon Canopy. And it actually looks like Frosty forgot to use the library last turn.
Oh, she definitely did. I'll be honest, I've been there many a times.
I've forgotten to use the library too. It feels bad.
Yeah, it does.
Card is very good.
It's okay. I don't want to be that person who has to put a dice on top of my deck, but sometimes I need to put the dice on top of my deck.
Yeah.
Malfi, you take that back. Berserk is a card. I will forgive you this one time. Sylvan Library is on a hierarchy of Berserk, Invigorate, Glistener Elf, Scale Up, and then Sylvan Library. Yeah, okay. We found it. It's number 5.
No bias.
Zero bias.
And Pendle Haven's also in there, I'd assume.
That's not green, that's colorless. Thank you very much.
Ooh! Yavamaya!
Oh,
Oh,
I like this a
nuts!
lot.
This is so good with Scrib Ranger. Oh my gosh.
It's really great in a lot of ways. So Yavimaya, of course, the new Urborg turning everything into forest. Turns out that's insanely better than Urborg ever was with turning things into swamps, right? Um, it makes it so in the green white depths you're able to get to ditch away all of your non-forest cards.
Yeah.
And then here of note, you're able to
Oh,
ditch. Oh, is this prismatic? Yeah,
prismatic ending. Here we
that's a good
go.
get.
Okay, so now Flash in Containment Priest. Okay, Scrib Ranger still flies. Okay, so not deploying the GTA makes a lot of sense now, given that you now have a creature that you can play the GTA and equip. Pay 2. Cast GTA. Or maybe not.
For all y'all's in chat, to be totally honest, I stopped even trying to think of cards after I got to the 3. I just wanted to make Sylvan Library be number 5 to kind of spite Malfi. At that point, I was literally looking for any green card off the top of my head. I should have named Rancor,
There
so,
you
just
go.
so we can put vines really down to the bottom.
So we're going to equip GTA after casting it and then smash for 2.
I like this a lot.
Yeah. And we get the 2 counters in, immediately shoot the Scrib Ranger. I like that a lot. Now we got a counter here, so this is a very precarious spot for Frosty. Yeah, remembers to use the Sylvan Library.
I think this might be it.
Hmm.
Rancor for president.
Cast Questing Beast.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Of note,
Hi.
Jordan is at 8 right now, so this
Yes.
will make it a fair 4-4 split.
Yep. Oh wow. End of note here as well. Frost Questing Beast having Death Touch and Vigilance means that you know, if you attack, right, you can just block with the Questing Beast.
Oh, what just happened
Oh,
there?
Caracas bounce Questing Beast
Oh,
back to hand.
so good. What a good game. Oh, goodness. So, of course, with one counter being left on the GT, you're able to swing in with your 2-2 and use the GT pump ability, making it exactly 4. What a great game, too. That was fantastic. Frosty going to be on the play going into this next one. Um, God. Maybe I should stop memeing so much and actually watch the game at points. Maybe that would be better commentary. Who knows? Do you think sideboarding changes at all from what we saw here?
I don't really think too much would change, honestly. It looks like Mr. Jack Dax thought very highly of the Dothai Voidwalkers. That dam was nuts last game. Having dam in the list actually, uh, I don't know. Do you think Toxic Deluge is still needed in addition to that, or
Yes, I think dark
okay?
rituals are bad.
Oh,
I, I
gotcha.
like.
I
I
see.
think the dark rituals are just a free takeout. So like, I just like putting everything in. I also really don't like Liliana as much once we are no longer on the play. Frosty being both on a dork deck and also being on the play and so creature intensive, I don't think Liliana the Veil is that good anymore. I think it's arguable and keepable when you're on the play, but I at least want to see one trimmed if they weren't already, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, and
That being said,
I'm
Lily of the
not the
Last Hope
biggest fan
would
of
be
Dothi.
nuts.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Last Hope would be amazing. I think that's an easy trade out to keep because you're able to really specifically target the mana producers. And you're also able to, in the long game grind, you just down ticking to go and get another Stoneforge or go whatever threat you lost, your Dothi, your Sedgemoor, whatever card it was that you lost earlier on. I think is a lot better than having the Lily randomly come in when you're in the top deck war and edicting and hitting a random creature that is the least the one that Frosty wants the least out of the 7 that's in play.
Yeah.
Um, but I think you want Toxic Deluge, and especially now that you're on the draw, you want it even more to have as a catch-up mechanic. So if Frosty goes turn 1 Dork, you do whatever, goes turn 2 Knight, goes turn 3, play 2 more creatures, or even just 1 more creature, you can go turn 3 Toxic Deluge, take some life, but be able to get a 3 for 1 and be able to catch back up on board after Frosty's able to abuse the mana advantage that she's going to be able to get with all of her Dorks.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that the edict effects are very weak against Maverick, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Especially with the ability to go and grab a Dryad Arbor off of a fetch land or also flash in a Scrib Ranger. I think it's a lot harder.
Yeah, 100%. Um, Again, I looking at Frosty's board, I don't know what you do. Like, I don't like Force of Vigor because it really is only hitting Jite. It can hit Batterskull, but Batterskull is gonna be the second thing that's gotten, or I'm sorry, either the second or the third equipment that Mr. Jack is likely to get. Maybe that
Yeah,
changes a little bit which one he gets when he's on the draw because he'll be maybe more likely if he is being aggressively hit down. Maybe he'll be going in the batter skull earlier. However, Mr. Jack Jax, in my previous play experience with him, is really good at keeping the batter skull protected and not losing it unnecessarily. So I still just don't like the Force of Vigor as much anymore. It was
yeah,
better, of course, when there was a sword that was a lot easier to just hit you or hit the Jite, you hit the sword, and then you have the batter skull that you have to basically play around and just accept the fact that you're never going to be able to fully remove it. But Zealous Persecution doesn't feel great. It really only hits Mom. Gaddock,
it does clean up the
no.
pests, but you gain a whole bunch of life, which is the issue.
We do know about the the Sedgemoor which is the big change up, I think.
Yeah,
Um that's the only new bit of information that I think is massively relevant on Frosty's side. And it's not even massively relevant. It's just it's the only new information, right? I
yeah,
can't think of anything
exactly.
else that showed up.
No,
Oh, the
other
dam.
than the
The
dam,
dam
but
showed up.
yeah. But that being said, I don't really think that there's anything that can be done about that. Oskiwa24, thank you very much for the follow. Given that Dam on the board wipe is on an overload, it's still converted mana cost of 2, so Gaddock does not stop it.
Teague is a no-go for sure. The one thing that it can eventually stop is a hard cast Batter's Color Cauldron complete. So
Yeah.
I
This
am
is a
out for that.
bad start for Mr. Jack Dax, though. Like, having a turn on Mom, you kind of want to get rid of it immediately.
Well, there's ways to do that, thankfully.
Yep.
We'll have to see what his start back is or what his response is.
Yeah, so on turn 1, your options are there's 1 Fatal Push and 4 Swords to Plowshare's main deck. We're getting a Dark Ritual. Is this a Lily the Last Hope? Oh, this is a
Dark
Thoughtseize first off.
Dark Ritual's
Interesting.
still in. Okay. I would love to talk to Jordan about what he
Oh
sideboarded.
no. Takes the Green Sun Zenith and shows 4 other lands.
Okay.
Ow.
That Thoughtseize feels very good.
Yes. Absolutely.
I
Oh
guess I'm
my
eating my
goodness.
word. I guess I'm eating my words with this Dark Ritual. Maybe it's right to keep it in. Paper popper gameplay.
Yeah,
You know us. We love our popper format with all these duels.
exactly. Oh, into a hymn? Oh man, if this hits the Bayou, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm actually a lot happier to see this be a him and not a Dothy Voidwalker or a threat, actually. It has to really be the Dothy. That's the only threat that can be deployed with his last 2 black mana, but like,
Yeah. 3, so that hits one of the wastelands. And then he's looking for 3
Wasteland.
again. There you go. Okay, so Frosty's still somewhat in here.
If you're
And of note,
Frosty,
that
do you
was a
waste this
basic
land?
swamp that was a basic swamp that was fetched.
Oh,
So
no. You can't wasteland it.
no.
That was literally gonna be my suggested play.
Yeah. If that was a scrub land, I think you 100% fire off the wasteland. That being said, though, I could also see deploying the Bayou just by virtue of you don't want to get himmed again.
What a great opener that would have been. Like, the him felt like it was a little unnecessary. Like, it was a very, it's kind of a lackluster him, I guess. But that opener, if you're on Mr. Jack Jack's side of just being like, I can turn one Thoughtseize and him, this seems perfect.
Oh yeah. Well, especially thought seizing taking like the only relevant card into a Bob. Wow, we are card advantaging.
Okay, this is gonna be
Ooh.
really difficult now.
Yeah.
Mr. Jack
Draws
Jack's being on the
scrubland.
Mr. Jack Jack's being on the play, or I'm sorry, on the draw is already up so high on cards after that him and the Thoughtseize play.
Yeah. This is nuts.
Attack?
Interesting.
You you have to just do the block activation here, right?
I think it's probably attempting to bait out Sword Splashers on the Mother of Runes. Sword Splashers on Bob.
Okay.
Gets there. Gain 2. Plays out the wasteland that is known. Of note, Frosty being able to just go Savannah on turn 1, Bayou on turn 2, Scrubland on turn 3. Frosty is set on colors.
Just
That
draw
being said,
cards.
though, yeah, that being said, though, there are still 2 wastelands in Mr. Jack Dax's list. She can cast Absent Charm. Indeed, she can.
Yo, she can cast Siege Rhino now. Forget your Abzan charm.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. Oh, there. Oh, next level plays, Malfi. Thanks for pointing that out. You can pay for the Sphere of Resistance while casting the Abzan charm.
Wow.
See, this is
That's
the
so
insight we only ever get from a colorless post player. Thank you for being here with us today.
nuts.
We going deep in the shuffle.
Yep.
Really making sure that's randomized.
Yep. So of note, there's still no non-basic lands for Frosty to hit. That is a sudden edict.
Okay. Oh, it's in. Sweet.
Yep.
That is good against Mom by itself.
That is true. And I think if you're in Jack Jax's spot, you should be very happy to be able to convert it this early. Or convert it for a
At
card that
all.
good. Yeah.
Converted at all, honestly.
Yeah. Birds of Paradise here, so it looks like Frosty doesn't have much for action. Pass back Stoneforge Mystic, it looks like.
Going Cauldron
Stoneforge
Complete here.
gets Batterskull. So either Cauldron Complete's already in hand, or I don't know why you would grab that Batterskull otherwise, to be
I'm
totally honest.
What did you call Cauldron Complete originally that I made fun of?
Cauldron Compleot.
Compleat. All right, that's what I'm going to call it now.
You
I've
know,
completely changed my
phonics.
mind. After having to say Cauldron Complete like 20 times during this match, I've changed my mind. It's Cauldron Compleat.
There you go.
Um, are we still on Mr. Jack Dax's turn? Maybe.
Looks like it was
Okay.
passed back and then Wasteland on the Scrubland. Thoughtseize takes the Force of Vigor. So Force of Vigor did come in.
Interesting. Okay.
Very interestingly, having a window for the Batterskull there, although not being able to convert it. That would have felt so bad in response to the Living Wish or the Living Weapon, just hardcast Force of Vigor.
Or just let the living weapon happen. I want to kill the germ also. Give me that extra value. I want to kill a creature and destroy the artifact.
There you go. Well, I just meant before you untap and can bounce the Batterskull back.
Yeah.
Deep in the tank here. Hmm.
Frosty
This
Hellbent at this point.
there's one card in hand, the card that was drawn for turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Uh, way to go, Malfi.
With a 1/1 germ. Yeah. Um,
Is that Sickle
I'm tr
Ripper or whatever it's called?
was it the, what how
Oh,
oh,
humility.
okay. Alright,
Wait,
that makes sense.
how exact? Oh, I get it. Yeah, because it's a 1/1, so it doesn't die when the equipment gets removed.
That's
That's
pretty great.
hilarious.
I appreciate that, that's great.
That's so awesome. So Frosty fetching up another land here. So we're up to 4. We're paying 2. Greenstone Zenith for X is 1. Interesting. Grabs Hex Drinker.
Drinker.
Oh, level up.
Alright, show us the
L-
removal.
level
What
up.
what were the other possible gets? It was you could get Knight of the Reliquary. Okay,
Oh, did have the swords.
yeah.
Wah, wah,
You
wah,
gotta just
wah.
make him have it.
Well, exactly. And the other thing too is that also means that the Batterskull's not coming down this turn.
It also had to be exactly that turn that he had it.
Yeah. Oh,
Drawing swords afterwards, it would have had the protection from instant.
we're just hard casting the Batterskull here? I guess trying to convert the Dark Ritual.
If we're not attacking in with the Stoneforge, though, that's interesting.
Huh. I wonder what the thought process is because the only creature with haste in Frosty's deck is the Questing Beast, which Stoneforge Mystic we've already learned can't block.
All right, there's one. Is there one land in the graveyard right now? Just the Verdant Catacombs? No, there's
I
two wastelands. There's three wastelands.
oh my goodness, this night is huge.
It's at least a 6/6. All right, show us the lands, please, Frosty. I don't remember.
We'll find out. Yeah, Frosty plays 6/6 Knight. Oh my goodness.
Attack into it, I dare you.
This knight is very large. Verdant and 3 wastes.
I'll be totally honest. I think we aren't going to start attacking with this. I think that we're just going to cash in a land for a Horizon Canopy.
I could actually see that. Uh it also gives you the ability to block the Batterskull too.
There's just two wastes in there. What happened to the last waste?
There should be a third wasteland because the third one was fired off. It was played from hand and then fired off right away. Disenchant,
Ah,
Miron
okay.
Crusader, and Thoughtseize. Yeah, take the Miron Crusader. Get out of here.
Oh, we saw Thoughtseize is coming. That's cool. I would not expect this in this grindy matchup, but you know what? I don't play these decks, so I'm not going to question it.
Yeah, I bet you if you're in Frosty's position, you should be very glad that the Thoughtseize hit something as impactful as Miron Crusader. Being a 2/2 double strike pro green that can hold equipment. Like, could you imagine that with a Cauldron complete on it? Oh my god.
I mean, forget even getting the Cauldron complete. You just could have played it on this subsequent turn, and then you get to 5 mana and equip it over. Like that would be that would be the game ender. You don't
Yeah,
even need to equip it over. It just would be the game ender.
yeah.
Attack through the night.
Smash for 4. Lifelink, go up to 13. And then down to 13. So 13 all here.
The attack with the knight
Interesting.
was interesting.
Hmm. You're only gaining like 2 points a turn. Oh, here we go, Questing Beast. Okay, this is huge now. Okay.
Is there anything else to get, or is it just Questing Beast? I think it's just Questing Beast.
I
Could be
think it's
other
just
night.
Questing Beast
Could be
here.
other night.
Well, why would you pay it X is 4 then? Because
The
you could
next
go X
level.
is 3.
I don't know.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Smash. So this is an attack for 10. So if Jack Dax has Cauldron complete in hand and flashes it in, oh my goodness.
Trading with the Q Beast.
Yeah. I do agree that is absolutely what you want to be doing. So gain 4, take 2 function, or gain 4, take 6, so take 2 overall.
Get to bounce Batterskull back, be able to get it back as a
Oh,
blocker for this next turn. This is why I wonder if getting the Knight was just better, just because it wasn't possible for the Batterskull to trade with any of it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mighty Penguin. Frosty is a big fan of the APAC basics They're very good. However, they have become very scarce in recent months. Pay
Frosty's got
5.
Frosty's got some drip. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, there you go. So we're gonna just hard cast a Batterskull again. I actually like this, given that it allows you to block the Knight with the Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, I don't know if you attack it anymore if you're on Frosty's side.
I probably would not. Oh, she knows more than I do. Crunch. Gain 4.
All right.
Interesting. So
So no
this
additional
is
threat.
this is one of the fun things I like about playing Knight of the Reliquary in decks with a ton of utility lands is that you can get some really bizarre stuff. Like Applejacks being able to just randomly go and just grab Dark Depths is hilarious.
Yeah, there isn't that same ability in this list. There's really the Caracas, the Horizon Canopy, Cradle, Dryad Arbor, technically, and Yavimaya, and the
Yeah.
Wastelands, of course. But
That being said, though, I still think Knight is a fantastic magic card in this deck. I think it's still excellent in Maverick.
yeah, once you've been wastelanded 4 times in a match because of the Knight just tutoring every single turn and just completely cutting you out of the game, it's good. That's the only
Oh
tutor
yeah.
target you need sometime, and then you die
Noble
to it.
Hierarch. Okay, so now that we're at the 5 mana here, it looks like we're going to just wait back and then oh attack for 1 in the air. Let's go.
Get it.
Yeah, Bajuka Bog's a good one too, there, Mighty Penguin. Absolutely. So we're gonna activate bounce the skull. Put the skull back in. Make the token there. So I actually like this being that the knight can block now.
Yeah, it also allows you to start chaining. Basically, go and get Horizon Canopy, which is, I think, just the what thing that you want to do right now. If you aren't going to be
Yeah.
attacking in, just go ahead and turn one of those lands into a new card in hand.
Ooh. Okay. Dothai Voidwalkers are still in.
You respond to that, right? No, because they haven't attacked yet.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Okay, Kaya did come in as well.
I hit the bird or hit the noble.
Hit the noble because that removes the clock.
That is exiled of note.
Yes.
Not with whatever,
Hilariously,
not with the shadow counter or whatever
yeah,
it is that
not
Davi
with a
gives.
void counter on it. Or does it destroy or does it exile the
It's
creature?
exiled. It does not have the shadow counter. Unless I need. All
It
right, let's reread
shouldn't have the
Davi.
shadow counter.
If a card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter on it. Yep, it is not going into the graveyard. It is being exiled from the Kaya's ability of exiling a card with C, or I'm sorry, a non-land permanent with CMC 1 or less. And looks like we figured it out there.
Yeah,
Perfect.
excellent. Crashing in with the knight.
Man,
Oh no,
mana
we're
value.
activating it. Activating it. Okay, so now this forest will have the void counter on it.
I think that this is still at end of term.
Yeah, getting the horizon canopy.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, sack the
Crack.
horizon canopy. Draw a card. Yeah, good call. Separate exile pile.
Make it nice and easy. Make sure there's no confusion whatsoever about what it could be.
Yep.
Give us that draw. How are the cards, baby? I'm not really sure what you would want to be getting right here.
Hmm. Yavimaya. Okay. So not relevant in this current board state, but Yavimaya turning all your lands into forests, making it so as that way you're able to bounce anything or sacrifice anything to the Knight of the Reliquary is very good. So attack with the Knight, block with the Germ. Oh, is this a Oh, is this exile on the Oh, it's on the Dothai Voidwalker.
Yeah, it seems correct.
Yeah, I think that's good given that you have the knight out just because that you want the knight to continue to get bigger.
I honestly think it's more just because you're gonna get lightning bolted every single turn. That is your clock. Like, that's putting you on a 5-turn clock by itself.
That's true.
Along with what you mentioned when we were talking about sideboarding, right? It's combo with Kaya, where it's just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna really fill up this ultimate and make it so it can do the big old haymaker punch."
Yeah. So looks like we're looking something up here. Dothai should still be summoning sick.
I wonder if they're looking up the swords interaction of where swords goes now that it's relevant with Kaya.
Sword should go to the graveyard. However,
Yes.
the Dothai will be off the battlefield, so it won't. Well, it won't be there anyway. So if it goes to the graveyard, it won't get exiled with a void counter.
Hmm. By the time the swords to plowshares is fully is resolving, um, and being put to the graveyard, the Dalthi is off the battlefield.
Or, well, I guess we'll find out here because that Mr. Jack Dax is a judge. Was it not summoning sick? Huh.
Let's look.
Found the
No,
collector oof. Oh goodness.
Jordan plays Dalthi, plays the Kaya, exiles the noble.
Yeah,
No,
which
it was summoning
was
sick.
it was summoning sick, yeah. And then we'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
we're
But it
gonna
looks
hold
like
and
we
talk
did
about.
get a collector oof, which is very good in the face of this batter skull. Very good. And of note here, Kaya not able to actually hit this. Yeah, so it just got exiled there. Not able to play the Horizon Canopy. Um, yeah, Kaya not able to downtick on this collector roof. Hmm.
Looking through the graveyard here. What what why is he doing that? Is he just looking at what he potentially has in the list to draw to still? I don't think there's any sort of recursion aspect that he has access to at this point.
I
Oh,
don't think so.
oh, no, wait. If he has Lily of the Last Hope.
That's true. Yeah. Another thing as well is that Kaya being able to hit specific cards is relevant here as well. Kaya needs to
Oh, you can
uptick.
gain life off of it, right?
Yeah.
Man, what a fantastic match this has been, by the way.
Yeah. Kaya is able to hit your own graveyard as well.
Mhm. But
So
it's
it
only your
looked.
opponent's cards in exile that are used for for determining the ultimate, right?
Yeah. Oh, oof. Here we go. Liliana the Last Hope.
Yep.
So honestly, do you just get the Miron Crusader here because it's pro green?
Yes. That is what I would be bringing back.
Yeah. Down tick. STP, Mother of Runes, ouch. Yeah, gets the Miron Crusader.
Yeah.
Or is thinking between Miron Crusader and Mom, it looks like.
Oh, of note, I totally forgot about this, guys. We technically time these matches. So we keep these at an hour. There's 5 minutes left in this match, just so we're very clear. We have been going for 55 minutes. Um, and so the
Takes the
players have been
Mother of
giving the five
Runes.
minute warning.
Takes Mother of Runes and deploys it. Interesting. Down
Um,
tick, kill the bird, which
wait.
is in exile.
Okay, yeah.
Huh.
So the thing is, you can start cracking in 2 turns from now with the Batter Skull, in theory.
Yeah.
It also means that you have another way to actually no, never mind.
Hmm. Is there a copy of Sajiri Step in this list? There is not.
No, there's not. Normally you only see that in depths variants.
Yeah. So do you just crash in with both creatures here in an attempt to kill the lily?
Are you gonna kill the Lily?
Well, if you attack with both, then Jack Dex has no creatures left.
Yeah, I guess you do. I don't know. The Lily will
Like
win the game in the long run.
like technically speaking, you can block with the mom and the Stoneforge Mystic to try and trade with the collector oof, which I suppose you probably wouldn't want, but then the Lily would die, and you'd also be able to take out either the Stoneforge Mystic or the mom, which I'm thinking, given that the Batterskull would be unlocked, you'd probably actually want the Stoneforge Mystic gone.
I think you'd want mom, honestly.
Could be. Oh, just hmm, no blocks.
And you
I
got your
suppose the
value out of it.
Stoneforge Mystic is very valuable here, given that a Cauldra off the top is nuts.
Yeah, Cauldron off the top requires a sword, so we've seen 2 of them already, right?
Yeah.
Looking at everything, deciding what's gonna be exiled.
Exiles 2 lands, so
I like
shrinking the
this.
night. Yeah.
You don't need to worry about life gain at all. You've gained
So much life
inst
this game.
12 life minimum off of this Batterskull already.
Yeah. Scrib Ranger. Uh-oh.
Alright.
Questing Beast is
Tapping
dead
for 3. Yeah.
as well. Pay 3. Plague Engineer. Oh no.
Goodbye, Mother Runes.
Yeah. You absolutely name human here, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Protection from
Play it like an
green.
FTK.
Yeah. Gives protection from green.
2 minutes left on the clock.
Is this all going upstairs or is this going at Kaya?
I like this a lot.
Ooh. This game has been nuts.
This is incredibly well piloted by both players.
This is an attack everything at Kaya.
Alright. Is
Here we
that
go. We are up to 6 mana now. We are 1 mana away from being able to hard cast a Cauldron in the event that something happens to the Stoneforge Mystic. But I imagine it's not in hand given that the Stoneforge hasn't done anything. Isaragard, if it goes to time, the match will be a draw if there's not a clear winner. If we can see the game ending in the next like 2 or 3 turns, we'll probably just let
extend it
it
a
go.
little bit,
But
but
yeah, if it's like there's no definitive winner and we could be here for another 20 minutes, then that'll just be it.
So, so to be clear, when we do our real events that are competitive, what we do is we don't do 50-minute rounds. We do 60-minute rounds, and then don't do time at the round. So as soon as the timer hits 0, players have to report at that point. We kind of copy that over when we do these fight nights. Of course, these fight nights are literally no stakes on the line. It's for absolutely nothing. It also doesn't feel that bad to just end the match at its point where it's at. However, as
Oh,
Malfi says, that we do not do turns on the MTGPL during our Saturday and Sunday events, basically for maintaining proper pace of play and making sure that we can keep the events going. We of course supplement that with the 10 extra minutes that you actually get to the round timer. But yeah, and this you're
this
right.
is
This is pride.
cool. This is sweet. So what's happening here is that this is going to be a return Bayou to hand, untap the knight, pod something away, go get the 4th wasteland, and then hit the Caracas that just came down.
I like this. You don't need the mana at this point.
No. Well, it also adds 2 more lands to the graveyard, which is going to be a much faster clock for night. Um Oh, here we go. So this is one of those situations where we might end up playing it out.
Yeah, I we'll need to check with our stream tech if they're okay with that. But my personal vote, we'll figure this
I
out.
don't see this going on much longer personally. So, not attacking with the Plague Engineer. Interesting. I actually like that given that if this is a flash in Cauldra, then you're really in trouble. If the Plague Engineer gets blocked.
Bob, okay.
Oh, okay. Plague on human instantly dies.
Oh, that's right. I missed that too. Oh no.
Oops. Here we go. Fetch land. Crack fetch.
Swings. Threatened super lethal.
These knights are probably massive.
God, I take back anything bad I ever said about Night of the Reliquary. I don't think I have recently, but I'm sure I did at some point. So
Yeah.
if that's on file anywhere, please excuse that. I apologize.
I love that card so much. Knight of the Reliquary is phenomenal. And looks like we're gonna see a show the hand
Oh,
concession.
it's
Oh my
all
goodness.
his card effects. Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Oh,
Frosty's gonna take it down.
what
Wow, what
a
a phenomenal
fantastic
match.
match. Big thank you to Mr. Jack Dax for stepping in to play tonight. Of course, when we had these complications and we had a player go missing, he was willing to step in. And I am so happy that we got to have this incredible match from kind of the remnants that we had left over for this final round. Super cool. Congratulations to Frosty. Thank you for everyone for joining us today for this really, really fantastic fight night. We had our little bit of technological hiccups along the way, but it turned out fantastic. Really, really cool. I might sleeve up some Night of the Reliquaries. I'll be very honest.
I love the card. It's phenomenal. I've been trying to force it in just about anything I can.
So, real quick, Prez, before we get out of here, we just want to give a couple of reminders. Remember, next week we are doing our Legacy Live, where you'll be seeing me, Oliver B, battling the guy above me, Prez BOTW, in three different matches of Legacy. We're kind of handpicking the matchups that we want to be doing. We'll be doing double cams, so you'll be able to see our beautiful faces and our play areas as we talk through our plays and our approaches to the matchups. Also, if you want to get involved with what we are doing here at the MTG Paper Legacy, what could these people do, Prez?
What they could do is, as you just saw, the wonderful Mr. Beyond Sadistic post in the chat, exclamation point Discord will get you a link to the Discord where you can come join us. We have tournaments every Saturday as well as every second Sunday, EU timed events for that one. And then we also have a monthly league. So the pool play of the June league just finished. So we're moving into the playoffs starting today. Those will be top 16, and then once we move into the top 8, those matches will be recorded and put on YouTube, which is super exciting. And but yeah, I can definitely say for sure though that if you're kind of curious about getting to play webcam Magic, 100% sign up for the league. It's low stress. You play at your own pace. You have 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks to finish. 5 or 6 matches. It's very low time commitment, and it's still great fun, and it's a great way to get into playing over webcam.
100%. For a lot of our players on our Discord, they end up finding that league play is really the it's it draws you in. You get what I mean? I'm sorry, I can't think of the proper words right now. But it's kind of the drug that gets you hooked, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a fantastic fight night. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week for our Legacy Live and the week after that for the next fight night. Remember, if you want to sign up and play and have commentators such as ourselves commentate on what's going on and talk with Chad about what you're doing, feel free to sign up. Check us out on the MTG Paper Legacy Discord, exclamation point Discord, to see what everything is. And for me, Prez, Beyond Sadistic, Pie Boy, all of the mods here, we just want to say thank you so much and let us be your local meta.
Have a good one.